full update. AITA for not buying my fiance's brother an expensive wedding gift and giving second thoughts about our relationship. I am thinking of canceling my engagement with my fiance after some fallout about gifts and expectations. She thought I would buy her brother an expensive Rolex as I did to my brother. When I didn't, she claimed I was being cheap and disappointing her family. I just felt so much pressure and betrayed over many arguments with her. I, 32M, have a successful business in NYC and I'm engaged to my fiance, 26F. We've been together for a few years and we're planning to get married in June 2025. I'm doing pretty well financially and I recently bought a house where she'll move in after the wedding. I'm really close with my younger brother, 30M, and we've been best friends for as long as I can remember. He got married in April, and as a wedding gift, I surprised him with a Rolex he'd been eyeing for a while. He didn't expect it and was over the moon about it, which made me feel great because I love him to death. Now here's where things get sticky. My fiance's older brother got married 2 weeks ago, and leading up to his wedding, she kept making comments about how much her brother loves Rolexes. She'd mention it here and there, but I didn't really pay much attention. For her brother's wedding, I decided to gift him a $2,000 prepaid credit card as a honeymoon gift. I thought it was a generous gesture, and he seemed grateful. But after the wedding, my fiance started acting strange. Today, she finally told me she was disappointed in me. Apparently, she'd convinced herself that I was going to get her brother a Rolex, just like I did for mine. She even hinted to her brother and some of her friends that I was going to buy him a fancy gift, like a Rolex. Now she's saying that I was cheap because I only gave her brother a $2,000 gift, and how it doesn't compare to the $20,000 I spent on my brother's watch. I'm honestly shocked and upset. Why would she think I'd spend that kind of money on her brother just because I did it for mine? I love her brother, but there's no comparison between him and my own brother, who's my best friend. I feel like she's completely overlooking the fact that I gave her brother a gift that most people would consider very generous. Now, I'm starting to have serious second thoughts about this relationship. I never imagined she'd put this kind of pressure on me, or act like I owe her family the same kind of money I spend on my own. I'm thinking of confronting her, but I'm wondering if I'm missing something here. AITA for not buying her brother a Rolex and being upset about her reaction. Update AITA for not buying my fiance's brother an expensive wedding gift and giving second thoughts about our relationship. It's been a few days since my original post, and I've gone through many of your comments. Before I dive into the update, I want to address some common questions. First, a lot of you criticized me for giving my brother a Rolex as a wedding gift, saying a wedding gift should be for the couple. To clarify, I did give my Sil a separate gift, a gold jewelry set from her favorite brand. Second, many of you said some harsh things about my fiance, questioning whether she even has a job. She's currently completing her PhD with offers from both Meta and Google. I have no doubt she'll be earning a great salary once she finishes. As for our age difference, she's 26 and I just turned 32, so it's only a 5-year gap. It's disappointing that some of you assumed she was with me just for money. Also, for those who asked, she gave my brother a gift worth around $1,000. Now, for the actual update. I asked her to meet me for dinner, and after we went to a nice restaurant, we headed back to my place. I brought up the tension that's been building in our relationship over the last few weeks, and she immediately blamed me, claiming I embarrassed and insulted her brother with the gift I gave him. At that point, I nearly lost it. I reminded her of everything I've done for her over the years, including letting her live rent-free in my old apartment, which I could easily rent out for $3 $500 plus per month. I was too drained to argue any further, so I brought up the topic of a prenup. I told her it was in both of our best interests to sign one before getting married. Her reaction was intense. She went wide-eyed, started yelling, and accused me of believing she was only with me for my money. She was furious that I would even consider divorce. After arguing for over an hour, I finally said I needed more time to think about our relationship. She asked if I was breaking up with her, and I said yes. She went quiet for a few minutes before asking what I wanted her to do with the engagement ring. I told her she could keep it. Then she asked about the apartment. I told her she could stay until the end of October, but after that she'd need to find a new place. She seemed shocked by my answer, though I'm not sure what she was expecting. In short, we've ended our relationship. She tried calling me yesterday, but I was in a meeting and didn't pick up. She later texted asking if we could meet on Saturday, and while I agreed, I've already made up my mind. I'm not going back to her. Her dad reached out, and while we've always gotten along, he was understanding and wished me the best. On the other hand, my mom isn't happy with me, mostly because she got close to her, and I didn't share the real reason behind the breakup. It sucks, especially after all the time and energy I invested in the relationship. But honestly, I'm glad it happened now, rather than a few years down the line. Going forward, I'm not rushing into another serious relationship unless I find the right person. Time to enjoy being single. Final update. There are 2 posts that lead up to this one, so I suggest you read those first for context. A lot of you asked me for another update, and honestly, I never thought I'd be giving one, but here we are. Before we get to the update, I wanted to answer some of the questions I saw in the comments. Many of you were curious about my and my ex-fiance's backgrounds. I'm of South Asian, Pakistani descent, and she's half Swiss and half German. Some of you even questioned if she lied to me about doing a PhD. I can assure you that she is actually pursuing a PhD and should be finishing in a couple of semesters. Also, when we first started dating, she didn't know much about my financial situation, so I don't think she started dating me because of my money. Of course, it probably influenced things once she found out, but I don't think it was her initial motivation. Now, for the update, like I mentioned in my previous post, she wanted to meet in person, and I agreed. However, I later changed my mind and suggested that we talk over the phone instead. We ended up having a detailed conversation the other day. No, she didn't say she was pregnant. Instead, she informed me that she would be moving out of my apartment by October 15th. She also offered to return the engagement ring, but I told her to keep it. During our conversation, she mentioned that she misses me and regrets how she handled things. She admitted that she would have approached the situation with a different, more mature attitude if I had brought up the prenup now. In short, she was very apologetic. I told her that whatever happened, happened for the best, and I wished her well. She wished me the best too, and we said our goodbyes. Overall, it was a mature conversation, and I feel like she understands that she was in the wrong. She asked if we could stay friends, and I said sure. But honestly, I don't think we'll have much contact moving forward, especially after she moves out. Many of you also suggested that I tell my mom the real reason for ending the engagement. My mom has been out of the country, so I haven't had much chance to talk to her. But today, I finally had an opportunity to explain everything in detail. My mom was shocked, to say the least. She told me that my ex has been in contact with her almost every day since the breakup, saying how she was looking forward to becoming her daughter-in-law, how she had already started planning the wedding, and how much she was going to miss her. My fiancée was always close to my mom and often told me how much she loved her, so I'm not sure of the real motivation behind these calls, whether it's genuine or if there's a hidden agenda. Regardless, my mom now understands why I made the decision I did, and she fully supports me. So that's the final update. Overall, I'm confident I made the right decision. Relevant comments. Commenter, your ex has been contacting your mother every day talking about your wedding when the two of you are broken up. I hate to tell you, but this isn't your final update. There is still a miasma of drama swirling in your future. Commenter, at best, she's underhanded. OP, make sure you delete your cookies, logs out everywhere, and run a malware scan on all devices. Remove your name and protect your credit as soon as possible. Schedule a locksmith for the moment the moving truck is driving away. Commenter, for someone who protests so loudly, both you and her, about her not being in it for the wealth, she got pretty hooked up about you spewing cash like a broken vending machine. Glad she came to her senses and realized what she looked like, but no matter how sincere her feelings for you, she really got it into her head that she was entitled to expect you to throw money in whatever direction she decided. Glad you came to an amicable ending and can part with no resentment on either side. Story 2. I left my boyfriend today, not sure where to post this. I told him it's not working and it's either break up now or break up later, so we may as well get it over with. He knows it's not working, so this is not a surprise for him. He just said he's not going to hold on to me if I want to leave. I tried to talk and say it doesn't have to be a bad thing. We tried our best, and we are just not compatible. I told him I'm happy I met him and glad for the time we had together. He was just sitting there in silence. I asked if he's okay. He just said, whatever. I've accepted it already since the relationship has been dead for a month. I kept looking over at him, and he's like, why are you looking at me? I said, I'm worried about you. And he scoffed and walked off. I didn't tell him I was leaving today, but I couldn't wait any longer. I don't want to spend one more weekend walking on eggshells worried about offending this guy who doesn't even like me. So, this morning, while he was at work, I packed all my stuff from our apartment. I gave the 4 weeks notice to our landlord. XBF didn't want to stay. I removed him from my Facebook. I drove to a different city where I have my house. I'm here now. I feel nauseous. I haven't eaten all day. I've been crying all day. Once I leave, there is no going back. I felt sad that I'm never going to see him again. I texted him and said, I had to leave for my mental health. We are just not compatible. I sent the notice to the landlord. He just said, wow, that's it, lol, which I'm glad for, because I was so worried he would be upset when he came home and saw all my stuff gone. I'm glad he didn't get into an emotional discussion about it. Already I am having sinking feelings like I should have tried harder. I should have got over my issues with him. I should have accepted that nobody is perfect. Maybe no other man will like me. But I know he is not right for me. We had some good times, but we had many heartbreaking times. Nights spent crying my eyes out. Days I couldn't eat from anxiety, feeling so uncomfortable in our apartment, wondering who he is messaging from his fake accounts, feeling like I'm going crazy for being upset over his actions. It's going to take me a long time to get over this. I had many messages of support from Reddit. It really helped me. I also went to a counselor in real life. I'm sad and also relieved that it's over. Relevant comments. Commenter, you did good. You kept it diplomatic and also expressed your feelings. There was nothing better that you could do. Every time the imaginary guilt hits you, think about the times when you cried at night. It'll make you stronger. I wish you the best of luck in your future. Commenter, OMG girl, I was checking on you to see if you broke up with him yet or not, and you did. Taking this step needs a lot of encouragement, and you did. I'm really happy for you. Commenter, I read this post and wondered why OP was being so dramatic and couldn't be friends later on if she missed her BF as a person, but didn't think they were compatible as a relationship. Then I read your comment and looked at her post history and, holy hell, OP needs to not be in a relationship for a while if she's got such attachment issues about this shitty-ass relationship. OP, hopefully soon you'll be able to feel genuine joy that you've binned your connection to this guy. It was clearly not adding value to your life. I broke up with my ex because we weren't compatible, and now we're great friends. That's what not being compatible looks like. I'm glad she's in my life and we still hang out together. I cannot imagine from your past posts that your situation is anything like the same. Story 3, I, 25F, gave my parents $10K to stop saying they bought me my car and that they can take it away when I don't do what they want. This happened a while back when I was around 18F. It was supposed to be a gift, but it became something else. Honestly, no regret with what I did. Best $10K spent. I think back on it every now and then, and while I regret not having $10K in my pocket, it was well worth getting my parents off my back, for car-related problems anyway. When I first was starting college, I lived with my parents. They forced me to stay, which caused resentment, but it's water down the bridge now. But this car event forever changed how I saw my parents. I was starting to work at McDonald's, and so my parents were telling me that they were looking to buy a car for me because they didn't want me to have to do it myself. I adamantly told them no, and deep in my heart, I knew why. But anyway, they proceeded to gift me a $10K car, used but in good condition. I was grateful and viewed it as my freedom because I used it to take me long-distance driving when I'm not at work or school without having to ask my parents to drive me places. But my parents did not approve of my long-distance driving and staying out late, past 9 p.m., at school, or usage of my car in any way that they did not approve of, mostly just the two above. It came to a head when I was planning a 2-day trip with my close friends. The trip was only 4 hours away, and when my parents heard that I was the driver, they forbade it. They said that it was dangerous and I could never drive that far. I have. And if they knew I was going to use my car like that, they can take it away because they were the ones that bought it for me. I ended up not driving my car, and we had to ask one of my friend's then boyfriend to drive us there. I guess my parents saw that their argument won, and so from then on, every time I was driving my car and they found out where I was going, or when I came home later than 9 p.m., they would bring it up to remind me that they got me my car and can take it away if I was not going to listen to them. I have had enough after a couple of months, and brought out the $10K that I had saved and gave it to them, telling them that I bought my own car now, and they can no longer tell me they gifted me my car because it was not a gift, but something I bought. After that, they no longer used it against me because I actually do officially own my car now with no strings attached to their gift to me. But from then on, I never ask my parents for help with anything, especially financial, because I know they will use it against me. I am more free than ever and honestly have no regret. Best $10K spent. Relevant comments. Commenter, good on you for setting that boundary. They're the type to use a gift as a way to control you. Never forget that. When they offer to pay for the wedding or down payment, there's always a cost. It's unfortunate because especially with parents, it's not supposed to be that way. I'm glad you're free of their manipulation, OP. Thank you. Yes, it is unfortunate, especially because they are parents. And yep, no way am I taking any of their offers for those events. Never allowing that to happen to me again. From anyone, honestly, so I guess a good lesson learned. Commenter, yep, it's about control. Did you move out? If not, make plans to, because they will then threaten your stability of a place to live, saying my house, my rules, get out if you don't like it. Oh, the car thing. My dad tried that with me when he co-signed a car for me. I was making payments on it. He threatened to take the car away from me, the same car I myself was putting money in. I hurried up and paid the car off through the bank. He no longer had control. After that, bought me a second car in case, when he was making them threats before I paid it off, I also moved out. He was very controlling and manipulative. Glad I moved out and got away. LOL. Ever since then, I bought my own cars. No help from him. He couldn't lower anything over my head. Thank you for sticking around until the end. If you liked our videos, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to keep up with our latest content. Have a wonderful day.